Hopefully we're ready to start again today. Hope you had a great weekend. Have your book with you. Let's start with prayer and then we'll go over your homework, right? Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. I pray that you would help us to do our very best for you. Help us to love you more. The more we love you, the less we'll want to do things that are displeasing to you. Pray that you bless our families that are represented at Grace Christian School, and that you would help me to explain things in a way that the students will understand and they'll be able to remember it and do well on their quizzes and tests. Thank you for loving us and answering our prayers. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, your book should be open to page 96. Let's go over some of the sharpening skills. And again, like I've said before, if there's something that I go over in class and you don't quite get it or you don't know why you messed the answer up, be sure and email me. I'll be glad to try to explain it again to you. I got most of the quizzes in, and I'm glad y'all sent those because there's a couple of things I want to review that we're still missing to make sure you get that nailed down before your exam this week. So if you haven't mailed your quiz in yet, make sure I get that so I can let you know if you're on target. Anyway, should have your book open by now. All right, number 1. This one is false because y'all already know that the only even number that we have that's prime is going to be 2. So that's false. On number 2, this one is false because if you take 12.3, multiply it by 0.006, you're going to get 0.0738, not 88. So that's making it false. On number 3, this one is also false because when you multiply 66% by 100 and move your decimal correctly, then you're only going to get 66, and that's it. There's no 6 after it, so that makes it false. On number 4, any number divided by itself is always 1. You just need to memorize that, and that was true. On number 5, this is our extremes and means kind of problem. Remember, if you multiply across your extremes and multiply your means, then they don't come out to the same answer on this one, and so that is false. On number 6, when you take 27 is 45% of 60, then that is true. 27 divided by 0.5, and move your decimal over twice, and you do your long division, and it will be 60. On number 7, this one is false. 12% of 25, so you multiply. And when you multiply, you'll end up with just the 3. You move your decimal over twice because 0.12 has 2 decimal moves, and it's going to be just the answer 3, not 30. On number 8, this one is false because when you switch it to the same denominator, so 2/5 becomes 4/10, and then 4 plus 3 is 7, so it would be 7/10, not 1/2. All right, on number 9, 25 is 12% of 30. Okay, on this one they switched around a little bit, so you got to think about it. 12% of 30 is, kind of like on number 7, they said 12% of 25 is, equal sign means is. So on this one we could say 25% of 30 is 25, but it's not. Okay, when you multiply 30 times 0.12, you get 3.6 as the answer. Okay, so 3.6 is 12% of 30. Number 10, 100% of any number is that same number, so that one is true. And if you're here, I said raise your hands if you got all those, and hopefully you all raised your hands. If you didn't, write down the right answer and rework the problem and figure out how to get there. Okay, hopefully I gave you enough information as we were going over it that you know the kind of how to set up your problem. On number 11, the answer on this one is multiplication, so it's 78. On number 12, this is division. 9 is what percent? Remember when we're looking for a percent for an answer, it's small divided by large, so you put 9 over 30, which we reduce down to 3 over 10. And then you can get the bottom denominator to go to 100 by multiplying by 10. 10 times 10 is 100, 10 times 3 is 30, 30% is your answer for 12. On 13, easy, don't you wish they were all this small? Easy, you just subtract and get 17%. 15 is 60% of what number? This one's division. 15 divided by 0.6. Remember, we don't use our 0 in when you do that long math, or if you want to put 15 over 0.6 and reduce. Okay, that ends up being 25 for number 14. 15, again, 128% would be 1.28 times $65.25. That comes up to be $83.52. Number 16, again, easy math, you just add 18 and 31 and get 49. Don't forget your percent sign, okay? Hopefully everybody raise their hands on that one because you got them all right. Let's look at solve the problems, okay? It's really important that you know the words. The words help you figure out, am I gonna multiply, am I gonna divide, am I gonna subtract and then divide, okay? Avery bought a flute that cost $430. She paid 6.5% sales tax. What was the total cost? Circle it, hopefully you've got your pencil there. Total cost of the flute, okay? So if you just do the multiplication, you're not gonna get the right answer, okay? If you multiply 430 times 6%, so 430 times 6.5%. Remember, you kind of ignore this and move it twice. Then annex your 0, bring down your 6, and then tack on that half. Okay, so you multiply like this. Okay, now, if you just did this multiplication and that's all you found was the tax. Okay, which is good. You need to know the tax number because now you have to add the tax number back in to 430 to get the total cost, because the total cost is what it cost plus your tax. Okay, now I showed you once before how to make a shortcut on this. If you have to add something back in, you can put a 1 in front of that decimal, and when you do the math, it will automatically add the tax back in. If you did not remember to put the 1 there, and you just did that answer, then you would have gotten your tax number, and then you would have to do an addition, 430, and then this would be your final answer, which would be $457.95. I personally like to put my 1 right there so that it'll automatically add it back in. Okay, hopefully I'll remember to do that to get total cost. Gotta pay attention to your words there. Okay, number 18, Ron bought a saxophone that originally cost $780 but was reduced. Circle the word reduced. You gotta remember your words here. Several of y'all missed this on your quiz, and we're gonna go over that in just a minute. But if it says reduced or less or lost, you have got to subtract first before you can find the cost of this instrument, okay? Because it was reduced 15%. Remember, 780 is 100%. Cost $780, so that's 100% of the number, okay? And because it was reduced, we need to subtract 15%. Okay, when you subtract 15%, then you get 85%. Change it into a decimal, 1, 2, okay? And then multiply 0.85. When you get that, you'll get $663. Are we done? Reread your problem again to make sure you got it all done, because we're not done yet. Ron bought a saxophone that originally cost $780, was reduced 15%. Find the cost of the saxophone, including 8% tax. Also circle including. If it says including, you've got to add it back in, just like we did on number 17. You've got to add that tax back in. So we got 630, 8% tax. So 8% tax. Okay? Again, if you don't remember to put a 1 right here, which I like to do because then we're done, then you'll end up getting only your tax money. And then you have to go back and add it to 663, and then you get your final number, okay? Trying to see if I did all that, okay? But I prefer putting a 1 right here, and then when you do your multiplication, you end up with $716.04. So this is the answer to number 18. Remember, if you have any questions, write them down, write down your question. You may not remember by the time we finish class, what was my question? And then you can email me and I can explain it again, okay? All right, number 19. Hope I didn't erase that too quick for you. I'm hoping you have most of it all done and you're just checking your work. You're not waiting on me to show you how to do it. Mike saved $6 on the cost of a soccer ball. If he saved 20% off the original price, find the original price and the sales price, okay? So on this one, it's like $6 is 20% of something, okay? This is how our wording that we talked about before helps you, because now you know 6 is 20% of something. So now you should know that you have to divide, okay? Anytime you see it set up like this, 6 is 20% of something, you have to divide. So small divided by large, 6 divided by 0.2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as a 20 because I'm going to go to 100 right here. You multiply both by 5, then you end up getting 30 over 100. And now we know that's 30. All right, so the original price was 30. $30, forgot my sign. Okay, and then we have to find out the sales price. Mike saved $6 on the cost of a soccer ball. Okay, so he saved $6. So 30 minus 6 gives you 24. And that's the sale price. Okay, that's number 19. It had two answers because it says find the original price and the sales price. Anybody got a question about that? Okay. If you didn't want to do this part right here, you still could have got it right by dividing 6 by 0.2, and you would have got 30. Okay. I'm pausing a little bit so you can kind of soak it in. Write down any questions you have. So that was 19. Let's look at 20. All the model ships were discounted 12% on October 12th at the Toy Trap. If the sale price was $44, what was the list price? Okay. Okay, they're originally $44. And $44 is 100% of our problem. And remember, you need to circle if it's discounted, we're going to subtract, okay? That means it's less. So we're going to subtract 12%. So we can see how much it was discounted. That gives you 88%. Okay? And then $44 over, remember your decimal, 0.88. Okay? That reduces down to 11 over 0.22. And if you take 11 divided by 0.22, move your decimal over twice. Got to annex 2 zeros to do that over here. You may not need that decimal, but you got to fill up the spot there. Okay? And then 2 will go into 22 will go into 120 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10, 10, 11. And am I done? Hopefully you said no, because we still have a place right here that we have to fill in. So you put a 0 there, and you don't need the decimal after all, because you finished up. So the answer for number 20 is $50. Okay? Pausing so you can look over it. Hopefully you understood all that. Okay, 22, 21. Says the regular price of a building block set was $140. The sale price, what happens when we sell? That's a discount, or it's going down, so we have to subtract. Sale price is $119. Find the rate of discount. to figure out what the difference is in the two, okay? So 140 minus 119 gives you 21. And then the way you can reword this is 21 is what percent of 140. Remember, this is your original price, okay? So when you do that, you have 21 divided by 140. Remember, you always take your original price as your numerator, okay? Then this will reduce down to 3 over 20. And guess what? We can multiply this by 5 over 5 to get it 100 on the bottom. And 5 times 3 is 15. And we're looking for a percent. What percent? That's your answer. So we change this to 15%. And that's your answer for number 21. Getting all this? There's a lot of thinking, but you can do it. You just got to think through the different processes. If it says reduced or discounted or less, you're going to have to do a subtraction somewhere. So we subtracted, found the difference, and that becomes your numerator divided by the original cost. Reduce it down, bring it to 100 if you can. If not, divide 3 by 20. That would have worked as well. And you still would have got 15%. Okay. I wish y'all were here so I could hear your questions. Or you can say, yes, I got that. Okay. 22, 3 modules, consisted of 3 modules, was 57 feet. The commander module was 11 feet long. The service module was 25 feet long. And the lunar module was 21 feet long. Find to the nearest whole percent. Make sure you read that on the quiz. Some of y'all lost a point because you did not round it to the nearest whole percent, okay? Sometimes they want you to show all of it after the decimal. Sometimes they don't, so you've got to read your directions. What percent each model was of the entire spacecraft? Okay, each one of these, they're looking for percent. Find to the nearest whole percent, okay? Remember, I told you if your answer is a percent, you're always going to take small divided by large, or small, whichever way you can set it up. That's the easiest problem, like that. And then reduce if you can. Or get the denominator, your base. Get your base to 100 if you can. If not, then you just have to do the small divided by large like this. And then you get your answer for each one of these. Alright, so the command module was 19%. The service was 44%, and the lunar was 37%. Okay, that was all the homework. Real quickly, I want to review some things from your quiz to make sure you're getting this. If you don't have your pencil in your hand, get your pencil in these word problems. Is it going to help you figure out how to set up the word problem on your own? And I think that's what kind of hurt some of y'all on your quizzes. So you need to make sure that you know what the wording is. So write down some things that I'm going to talk to you about. First of all, on some of these, y'all missed one point just because where you worked your math and then you took your math and put it in the blank, you changed the answer. So make sure whatever you wrote over here, which is right, came over and you put it in the blank correctly. So be careful when you transfer. The other thing that some of y'all miss, like I talked to you about a while ago, sometimes it says round to the nearest whole percent. So if that's true, I think like one of these we had was 0.333. I do it 3 times, even though it's repeating, just so I can remember when I move my decimal. Okay, and you move your decimal over twice, well, it would be 33.3. Okay, but if it says round to the nearest whole percent, then in your blank it's just going to be 33%. Okay, so be sure you read carefully about that. Okay, the next thing, all right, we had one of these, or a couple of these in your homework last night, and I think y'all would have done it right if you just take the time to read your problem a little more carefully. Look at number 3. I don't know if y'all have your quiz in front of you, but if you can get it real quickly and put it in front of you, that would be awesome, because then you can see which one I'm talking about. On number 3, it says find 12% more than 50. If you see more, you have got to add 100%, okay? So on this one, it was 100% was your original number, but it wants you to go 12% more. So if you see more, you gotta add, okay? So it's 112%. Then you get ready to do your math problem, 1.12 times 50. Not hung my 0 out here. 5 is 10, 5 is 6, and 5. Move your decimal over twice. Don't show any zeros. So the answer for that one is 56. And we don't usually give your answers on quizzes on the video, because then y'all can cheat. Hope you won't, but I need y'all to know how to do these before you do your test, okay? Alright, so if this one was more, what do you think it'd be if we say less? Like you have on number 4. Well, you gotta subtract, okay? So you have 100% minus whatever percent they give you, 12%, okay? When you subtract that one, you get 88%, and then you take 88% times 50, okay? 88% times 50, and your 0, and when you do the math there, you have the answer, okay? Alright, so if it says more or less percent, you've got to add. Okay, look at number 8 and 9. Find the percent of increase, okay? Find the percent of increase from 5 dogs to 6 dogs. Whenever time you say percent of increase, you gotta find the difference in the two. You're not necessarily on this one gonna add or subtract. Okay, pause just a minute. The other one on your quiz that I wanted to talk to you about, we were talking about 5 dogs to 6 dogs. You have to find out the difference. If it says find the percent of increase, don't confuse that and think because it's increase you're gonna add. We got to find the difference in the two. Okay, so when you subtract that, of course, that's 1, and you would take your first number they give you, 1/5, and then that y'all have memorized as 0.2, and then you got your right percent there. The next one says find the percent of decrease. On this one, you've got to subtract when you say percent and decrease. On the one up there, they just, on numbers 3 and 4, it just says more. So you add. On number 4, it says less, so you subtract. But when you get percent of increase or percent of decrease, you have to find the difference in the two by subtracting. Doesn't matter if it's increase or decrease. You have to put your wording out there. And some of y'all did that. Some of you left off your words, even though I said that 1,000,000 times the other day. Drive you crazy. Number 9, again, you're going to subtract 25 and 22 to find the difference. And then that would be 3 over 25. And then you reduce and get your percentage there. So hopefully remember that. Don't forget to put increase and decrease if that's a question. Okay, I think that covered, let me see the ones that were missed on the quizzes. If y'all want a copy of the graded quiz, just let me know and I will scan it and send it to you. But you will see the grades on RenWeb, okay? All right, today we're gonna learn something new. Again, we wanna do our flashcards. We'll do them pretty quickly since y'all aren't here. It's so important that you're able to change decimals into fractions and fractions into decimals. I know you probably get tired of seeing these flashcards, but the more we do it, the more you get it memorized, and it'll come quickly to you when you get ready to do quizzes and tests. Okay, so this one, 3/5. This one, 7/8. Hopefully you are saying it out loud and impressing your family. 2/5. 5/8. Y'all know this one all day. 1/4. 3/8. Y'all know this one. 1/2. 1/5. Know this one really well, thinking about dollars. Okay, 75 cents. 3/4. 3/4 of a dollar. 1/8. 4/5. 4/5. 2/3. 1/6. 1/3. And 5/6. Okay? Remember, memorize page 63. I got it written on the board over here, so I remember to tell y'all. Memorize page 63. That has all these on there, and you'll be able to just knock it out really quickly like that. Okay, we would normally do a speed drill now, but you're not with me. So sad. But we're going to go ahead and talk about commission. Now, if you work for a shoe store, or you work as a waitress and they give you a little bit of commission, you definitely want to know how to figure this out so that you make good money on your hard work, okay? So what they're talking about here is how much money you're going to make, commission. All right, the sales, when you work on commission, you want your sales to be as good as possible because you're going to get a percentage of everything you sell, and that's actually your paycheck that you take home, okay? So that's what we're talking about. On this one, it says sales of $10,000, okay? Let's say you sold $10,000 worth of shoes this week, and your rate is 5%. You're going to get 5% of what you sold, and that's going to be your paycheck. Anytime you see the word rate, that just means percent. Okay, if they're asking you to find the rate, they want you to find the percent, okay? All right, so those are kind of interchangeable. So the wording, if you remember how to word it, it's just the same as 5% of 10,000, okay? The rates here, there, y'all know all day long how to do that one. 5% of, you know, of means multiply, and then you can take that and multiply by 0.05, and you know that's 0.00005. Move your decimal over twice. And so if you sold $10,000 worth of shoes, you get to take home $500 of that. The rest of that stays with your boss to pay for the building and the shoes and everything they have to do. But you get to take home $500, okay? So commission, that's how that works. All right, let's say I give you the information in a different order, okay? I don't just say 5% of 10,000 and you figure out your answer. What if I say, okay, this person sold $10,000 and they got to take home 100, okay? This is their commission, okay? This is my commission. That's what that's called. That's what you get to take home when you work on a percentage, okay? So that doesn't mean that we're going to do the same kind of math. We're looking for a percent, right? This one's dollars. This one's dollars. So we got to find a percent of if we want to find out how we got to 100. Looking for a percent. What's the words I always say when you're looking for a percent number? 10,000. And y'all know all day long we mark that out. Mark that out. That equals 1/100. And 1/100 is what? 1%. Okay? Poor guy. This one up top got 5% on what they sold, This person down here only got 1%, okay? If you take 10,000 times 1%, then you would get 100, and you know that's what they got to take home, 100 in their pocket. Hopefully you understand that, okay? Alright, now I'm gonna give it to you in a different order, and you gotta be able to do it either way, any of these three different ways. So if you need to take notes of how I did this, how I changed the wording over, so you can see what kind of math you're gonna be doing. So what if this time I give you the rate of 8%? And the commission is 500. Remember, this is your take-home pay. You take home what the commission is. This is the take-home. And on this first one, we had our take-home way over here. This is our take-home. That's what you get paid. Ham instead of home. Alright, now I have a rate and a commission. So how am I gonna do that? Okay, think of it this way. 500 is 8% of what number? So if you can change it into kind of a word problem, even though I know y'all hate word problems, you'll know what kind of math to do. This was changed to a word problem. 5% of 10,000. Looking for a percent. So small divided by large. And this one is 500 is 8% of what number? So when we do this, we know we took home 500 and we got paid 8%, but what did I have to sell? This time we're looking for how much did I have to sell to be able to take home 500 at 8%, okay? So remember when you do this one, 5 is 8%. So you do 500 is 8% of what number? 500 is 8% of what number? Okay? And so when you do this, you can do your long math if you want to. You might be able to put it over each other and subtract it, but I want to do long math. Put it as a fraction and reduce it, not subtract it. And but I want to do long division to make sure y'all know how to do it this way. Okay? So remember, anytime you have a percent, don't forget this step. I know it sounds silly to write it as 0.08 because you probably can do it in your head, but you may mess up in moving your decimals back and forth. So it's 0.08 to start with, but we have to move it twice, which means we're going to have to annex 2 zeros down here, and then the decimal's going to be way down here if we need it. It may terminate before we get that far. Okay, and now we're just dealing with 8. Okay, 8 will go into 50 6 times. Okay, and then 8 will go into the next one 2 times. Next one 5 and 0. And guess what? I didn't need to have that. So what this is saying that if I sell $6,250 in shoes, which I want to do as much as I can, it wasn't as much as 10,000 in shoes, but if I sold 6,250 in sales and then got 8% on that, then they get to take home $500. So we're just working backwards now, okay? 500 is 8% of what number? 500 divided by 8%, get that. And if you want to check your work, this is how we check it. We take what you divided here, go back and multiply it by your 8%, and you should get the 500 that's there. So y'all know how to check your work all the time. All right, that's what we're talking about today in commission. So look at page 97. At the top, follow along with me. A commission is a percentage of the selling price that the seller receives on a sale. To find the commission, multiply the sales price by the rate, which is a percent. Write as a decimal. And then it shows you this example here where he got 7% of 151,500, changed it to a decimal, 0.07, multiplied, moved the decimal over, and got $10,605 that he got to take home from that sales. He sold over $151,000, so that's pretty good. The next one, the rate of commission is another way to express the percent of commission. To find the rate of commission, set up a fraction. The numerator is the commission, the denominator is the sale price, okay? And you see that one here. 62 over 1,240, they reduce it down to 31 over 620, and then the long math, and got 0.05, move your decimal over and got 5%. Okay, small divided by large when you're looking for a percent. And the last one, the selling price, is the base in the business transaction. To find the selling price, divide the commission by the rate of commission. By the rate of commission. Okay, the rate goes on the outside, and you see here they changed 5 3/4 to 0.05, then on your 3/4, 75, and then it went to the long math and got 5,500. Okay, we got some practice problems here that y'all know how to do all day long. If you already know the rate and how much it costs, simple math. It says complete this chart. Remember, a commission is a percent. Do the work on notebook paper. You'll need to show your work. You don't have enough room right here to do 25,000 times 0.03 and then get $750. Okay? So I'm gonna let y'all work on those. We'll go over them again tomorrow to make sure you got the right answer. Turn the page. Now this time you're looking for the rate of commission. So if out in the margin of 7 through 12, put small divided by large. Okay, look for your smaller number. That's the 300. Divided by 7,500. You can reduce it down by dropping 2 zeros, and then you can probably reduce it again, if not long division. Sorry. So on these, let me get a drink real quick. If you want to on those, just do the odds. Do 7, 9, and 11. Because I think if you do it 3 times, you should be able to get it correctly, and you're going to be doing some long division on that one. Okay, 13 through 16. Remember, divide the commission by the rate, okay? And they put it in the right order for you. It's going to be 50 divided by 0.05 is going to go outside, or 50 divided by 0.05. And this time you get the cost. All right. Well, I got to dump my water out. Okay, I'll let you work on those on your own. Problem solving. Mr. Powell sold Jeff up 125 pounds of pecans and sold all his pecans 124 times 3.75, and that's how much money he made. He could have 25% of the pecans he picked, so he only got to keep 25%, so you do have to figure that out on that one. I'll have y'all work those. We'll go over them tomorrow in class. Number 2, Penny Dryers received a salary of $200 per week plus 606% on her sales. Last week she sold this much worth of goods. What was her total salary? Don't forget to do total salary for the week, because she gets $200 no matter what she sells, no matter what her commission is. So 200 is going to have to be added into whatever you figure out. Okay, and on this one, so her commission on her sales, so take 15,900 times 0.06, make sure you move your decimal correctly, and then add $2 to it, $200 to it, because she automatically gets that 200, okay? And number 3, he receives 5% commission on the cars he sells. Find the total commission on these sales. So, of course, you're going to have to add them all together, multiply by 0.05, and then in your answer, make sure you move your decimal in the right spot, and you'll see how much commission he made. That's how much money he got to take home from selling all that amount of cars. On number 4, Joe Jones received a commission of $165 on a 2,750 sale. What was his rate? What's another word for rate? Percent. Hopefully you remember that. Right here, rate is like a percent, so you're finding a percent on this one. And when you look for percents, you do small divided by large. So the small number is 165 divided by 2,750. Okay. You could probably reduce that several times and then do your long division, and you will get the percentage there. All right. Hopefully you got all of that. It's just reviewing how to do these different things. If I sell 10,000, I want to figure out how much I get to take home, multiply by 5%, and I get to take home $500. Or if I sell 10,000 and I got to take home $100 and I wanna find out, do I wanna work for this guy or do I wanna work for this guy? I don't know what the percent is on this one, so you figure it out. You go small divided by large, 1%, and then you can look at it and say, God, this guy's only gonna pay me 1%, this guy's gonna pay me 5%, I wanna work for the guy that pays me 5%. So sometimes it's good to be able to do this right here, so you can figure out what your percentage of commission's gonna be, how much money you're gonna get to take home. Alright, or sometimes you'll have the rate, and you know how much you took home, but, you know, say, hey, let's say I need to take home $500. That's what I know I need to take home. And they pay me 8%, so how much do I have to sell to get to that? Okay? So you wanna do the math problem to figure out, oh man, how much do I need to sell to take home $500 at 8%? So you take 500 divided by 8%, and now you know your number, your goal for your week or your month. If you wanna take 500 a week, then you know your goal for that week is to sell at least $6,250. And if I sell that much money, that much items, and they give me 8% commission on it, I get to take home $500. So now you can see why it's important to know how to figure out each one of these, as far as the salary goes. Commission, that's how you make, some people make their money that way. Some are like number 2 in your problem solving. They get a flat fee of $200 plus one of these things, okay, so you don't really know. Okay, we read all that, did the practice problems. What else do all we have left is your homework. So the sharpening skills on page 98 to 99, it's on 2 pages. Numbers 1 through 20. You got some word problems on the next page. Got a lot of word problems to do today because I want you to do the problem solving that we did in class. I just talked you through it, didn't really do the math to see if you came up with the right answer. It's so important right now as exams are coming up that you get the wording down, you know how to figure out a word problem, change it into wording that you know how to set up the problem, 5% of, looking for a percent, 500 is 8% of what number. Those will help you remember how to set your word problem. Sharpening skills, of course, the first ones you can just do right there in your book, round off to the nearest tenth, okay? So make sure you get those right. Give the decimal ratio and percent equivalent for each fraction, okay? So the decimal equivalent on number 7 would be 0.75, y'all know that, okay? And the ratio would be 3:4, and then we know that the percent is 75%. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you have to do 3 answers, so don't forget to do all 3. I did number 7 for you just now, 0.75, 3:4, 75%, okay? And then you got the word problems, 13, 14 through the end. Alright guys, we're still done about 10 minutes early, so you can start working on all the homework if you didn't already get it done. If you haven't sent me the quiz from last week, please ask your folks to get that to me so I can get it graded and make sure we have those problems done correctly before your exam comes. Alright, I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day. Publish or whatever at the bottom, and when I did somehow I hit the help. So I don't know how to get to where I can end the video.
Okay.